Welcome everybody to today's session, repurposing H5P learning objects. So I wrote this blog post a while ago, and essentially what it was I was just kind of musing about. I've done quite a few projects over the last 2 years using H5P, and what I think the best part about H5P is actually besides the media, the instant feedback, and how it is responsive and it appears really well on all device kinds of screens, all screens. I think the power is repurposing existing content out there. There are tens of thousands of H5Ps out there for you to grab and look around. Even within the Avenue system, I've noticed that a lot of you have set up shared courses that you're sharing different learning objects on, and a lot of them are H5Ps. So I think what we're going to do today is we're going to see if we can go through a practical series of steps with a lot of considerations when you are repurposing H5Ps. I'll be grabbing one from Tutela, and then I'll be grabbing one off of a fictional shared course. Okay. All right, so really, why would you want to repurpose an H5P? First of all, everybody knows what an H5P is, right? These are online learning objects created. You generally create them within Avenue itself using the H5P engine. You're not supposed to be creating these until stage 3, and you're going to be mastering them in stage 4. But a lot of you have gone ahead. I appreciate that. And so the thing is here, you can actually learn on the fly by going out and grabbing other people's H5Ps, putting them into your course or your content bank in your course, and then picking them apart and seeing how they function, and or just copying them and changing the content so you have a nice presentable learning object for you and your students. And once you've done it once, then you'll get in the habit and you'll be able to sort of create a Henry Ford-like factory to make many objects and make your courses more dynamic, and everybody will love you, or some students will hate you for having too much work. So I've listed a whole bunch of things here on this blog. If you want to change the language, the instructional language of an H5P activity, you can do it by repurposing. You can change the CLB level. Well, that's really in you, but you have the ability to change the content if you're repurposed. So if you see something about plumbing, becoming a plumber in Canada, CLB 8, but you want to teach it to CLB 3, you can take that core content and copy the H5P and then rework the language and the concepts by yourself. Still, it's a lot of work, but it'll save you time because some of the images will be there as well. When I was in the Middle East for a bit, I know we changed a lot of content that came from the United States and Britain to eliminate a lot of stuff, like, for example, if there was alcohol or if there was pork or stuff like that, and other cultural norms. You can make subtle changes by taking something that's out there and changing. Maybe even if you have an American H5P that spells color without a U, and you want to put color in there throughout. That's another example. If you're working for an institution, generally sometimes they want you to push out H5Ps with a sort of a style sheet. So like background should be a certain color, your logo should appear on it, arrows should be dark red, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So maybe they want you to use specific fonts. So you can adapt other people's H5Ps, just changing some of the styles, just by copying it and changing the styles once you're in the H5P editor. Rearranging or resequencing content. So if you see a nice quiz out there that has 20 questions on passive verb, maybe you can rearrange them or change them slightly quickly by downloading an H5P and doing some quick wizardry. Segmenting larger learning objects into smaller ones. So saving time and money by not wasting time setting up an original H5P or just taking someone else's and tweaking it. Saves a lot of time and money. And also when you're if you want to repurpose, if you're out there and you're in these learning object repositories with H5Ps, a lot of times you'll see some cool, innovative things that they do, and you can't really figure out how they've done it. So if you just download it, crack it open in your editor, you'll be able to manipulate and use it as that new innovation into your content. Okay, so that is that. Okay, so I just want to show this to you. This is just a sample of an H5P learning object repository out there. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's called eCampusOntario's H5P Studio. Can you raise your hands or show me something that you've seen this, if you've seen this before? No? Okay. Yep. Oh, nope. Yep. Okay. So essentially what it is, it's thousands of H5P learning objects. And if you just go to h5pstudio.ecampusontario.ca, I'll put the link here right in the chat window. And here you can see, not only do you have the title, but you also have the type of H5P, the author, the subject, when it was the license and how long ago it's been there. On the left-hand side, you can look for different keywords, subjects, like for example, language and linguistics. You can search by license. And you can search. And results will show up. So you can see here, there's lots of course presentations. Quite a few of them are in French, and there's maybe 80 of them. Anyway, so the H5P Studio is there for you to explore. But the cool thing about all of these is you can open one up just by clicking here, and then you can download them. And I can take this, put it onto my Avenue course, and it's mine to manipulate. As long as it doesn't say all rights reserved kind of thing here in the license, right? So that's just one example. We're going to go through one of those later on. But when you want to reuse an H5P learning object, the first thing you have to do is you have to locate an H5P somewhere out there that you want to download, okay? That's number one. Then you have to download it and to your computer, and then put it into your editor, your H5P editor. Today, we're only talking about Avenue, the Avenue system. So you would put it into the Avenue content bank in your course. And then once you've done it, once you've made your edits, you edit, make your edits, and then you would position it on your course. Okay. After you've done this, you have the original file that you downloaded on your computer. And you also have a new repurposed one on your LMS. Okay. So in this example right now, the first example we're doing today, I'm going to locate an H5P learning object on Tutela. I'm going to download it, put it into the Avenue course bank on my course. Course content bank. Every Avenue course has a content bank that's related just to that course, okay? Then I'm going to edit the H5P learning object in the content bank, and then I'm going to push it back up into the course so the students can see it. On this handout, I must apologize. Step number 4 there, the learning object is added to the main course page. Those steps are not on this handout. I just kind of thought, oh, everybody knows how to do this, but now I realize not all of you do, so I will add that to the final copy. Okay, are you ready? Took me forever to get here, right? So first of all, you go to Tutela. Everybody's a member of Tutela, I'm sure. You go to Tutela, and then you locate resources. Down here in the resources area, you see H5P resources. I'm just going to click on Browse All. You can be more refined in your searching than this, of course. To be easy, I'm just going to look here at my Browse H5P resources, and I'm going to click on the theme At Home in Our Community. Okay, and I'm going to choose this is just the first one, so I'm going to choose this one here. Everybody knows there's the title. It's PBLA self-assessed. There's a descriptor here. And if I want to look at this to see if I want to use it, meditation module, I click on view. Now, once I'm in here, the first thing I want to do to ensure that I am doing this legally, this is the resource, but I'm going to click on further information. Now, in the further information, it will tell us who the author is, a bit of the copyright status, so it's Creative Commons, attribution, and non-commercial usage, right? So you can go there, and if you want to click on more details, it will take you to the Creative Commons page to describe that license. So I think we're generally here. I'm not going to sell what I'm going to make today. I'm not going to sell or represent us as I'm going to attribute to Melanie Gerritsen. Okay, so pretty sure that we're safe here. And if it's up on Tutela, generally everything is for sharing, generally everything, but you should double check. So I'm going to go back to the resource area, and in here, I'm going to, I imagine that I've previewed all of this, and I say, oh, I really want this one here, course presentation 57037. That could have been named a bit better, but hey, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on preview, and there it is.
Meditation.
There is a preview. And did you hear the word meditation? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so this is the H5P as it is.
Meditation.
All right, and you can see it interacts with me just exactly as it will on your Avenue course.
You can close your eyes or keep them open.
Okay. And then you see there's some questions at the end here, and there's a summary screen. Okay, I'm thinking, wow, I like this. This is great. So what I want to do is that there it is. I want to download it. So I'm going to click on download. And there it is. Sorry. I've downloaded it, and it's now on my computer in my downloads folder.
John, can I just ask a quick question?
It better be quick.
Okay. How did you know that was an H5P? Because there's a bunch of files there.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, if we have lots of time, I go through it. But see here, when I clicked on preview, you go down.
Meditation.
There, you can see it is an H5P file. See right down here, H5P.
Yeah.
Down there. So if I click on, say, see the zip ones, they don't even have the option of preview. Right? Yeah, these are all the preview ones. Oh no, actually here, meditation. Let's see the meditation preview up here. That's a Word document. See how it says W over here? And yeah, you'd have to preview it. How's that, Michelle? How's that for a good answer? A quick
okay,
answer?
Thank you, John. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, so that's the end of Tutela. And now I'm going to go to my computer and my Avenue. So this is my course here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to go to editing, turn editing on yet, which is intuitively what you want to do, right? I want to go to, I'm on my course, John Sandbox. So I'm going to go to the content bank. So if I click on content bank, this is where all the H5Ps are stored for my course. If you go to your course on Avenue, if you went to the content bank, I guarantee you there's probably 50 to 100 H5Ps packed in there. So here's a little tip when you're no, forget it. So at this point here, I don't have it, but I'm in the content bank, so I'm going to upload it. Okay, I'm going to upload it to the content bank by choosing a file. You can see the steps are right on your page, right? Then I click on Browse. And as I can see here, course presentation right there. Click on Open and upload a file. There it is. And I click on Save Changes. Now, this is a cool thing. It's in the content bank. So at this point, only you can see it. Your students can't see it, right? It's in the content bank. So at this point, you can play with it and look at it and preview it, right? But
meditation can make
you want to make
feel
changes to customize it to
happier.
your purposes, right? So if I click on edit, now it's going to become yours. One really, really important thing that a lot of folks, oops. Sorry, let me cancel that. One thing I kind of screwed up here, sorry. The one thing I did, which most people do, is they forget to do this. If you click on up here, if you're in the content bank, looking at the new H5P object, if you just go up to the actions menu to the right, and you click on rename. Instead of seeing this name in the listings, you should put something that you know it is. Okay, so I'm going to put in repurposing demo. Oops, repurposing demo. H5P. So when I look at this, my listing of my H5P learning objects in the future, it's going to be much easier for me to identify it instead of having that course presentation with all those numbers, because it gets really confusing. Trust me, headaches. Okay, so you can see here repurposing demo H5P. There it is. Now I can click on edit to go in and edit it. And now we are in the editing mode.
Oh, they're good.
Is it? Thank you. So at this point, folks, here we are. There are so many things you can do in here. Like there's so much stuff here. It's like soft plasticine. Here we go. So the first thing is, I would say we should change the title. See how it says the title is course presentation 57037?
Yes.
Change it to something that you believe is something you would search for in the future. This actually is a title that's used for searches only. So in this one, I would type in meditation, self-care, or something like that. Okay. So if I do that, if I do a search for this later on, it will pop up. Okay, so that's the title. If I click on this and click on save, I wouldn't do this however you're doing if you're following along, but I click on this, I go back to my content bank just to show you. Okay, whenever you get to your content bank, as in the future, the first thing you're going to do is this. See where it says last modified? You're going to click that 2 times. 1, 2. And you see here, it will show you the title here. Okay, so repurposing demo, I'm back there where I was. I'm going to be, there it is, a repurposing demo.
Interesting.
Okay, and I'm going to click on edit to get back into edit mode. I'm not sure how many of you have edited at this level, but this is usually stage 4 stuff, but look at all the options you have here to edit and make these beautiful, these H5Ps. Down here, these are the different slide options. And then here, what you have are slide editing options, like add a new slide, clone a slide, change the slide background, move slides around, delete slides. Okay, but for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to add a title slide. So to add a title slide, because there's no real title slide here. Meditation is okay, but we want to have our own title slide. So we're going to go here and click a new slide. Okay, I'm not sure if you noticed, but the new slides jump one to the right. So here is the meditation slide, but it created a blank slide here. So in order for me to push this back to the front, there is another icon here. It says move slide left. Now the first slide is empty and the second slide has meditation. So I'm gonna put an orientation slide for my students here. I clicked on text. Sorry, I'll delete that. Sorry, I did that too quickly. To add a text element to this slide, I'm gonna click on T. And then once I'm in there, I'm going to type in how meditation helps us as the title of this learning object. So here you can change the size by percentages, or you can change it by styles. I will go to 150%. I will choose a color that's suitable for my class, and I'll center it. Just like in Microsoft Word, right? Similar. So how meditation helps us is my title. I can pop that up there, move it around anywhere I want on the screen. Okay. So then I want to put an introductory image. To add an image, to customize this, I will click on add an image. Just use this one here to save time. Okay, once I put the image in, I have to put an alternate text so screen readers can read it for accessibility purposes. So the message should be short, but it should describe what's happening in the picture. So for young students looking at a computer screen. Okay, so that's my image. You can stretch out the image if you want and shift it around. Okay, so that's part of your screen. And then I want to give them some orientation instructions. So here I put in, click here to start. And let's pop this down here. I can center that and all that, but I'll just leave it like that. Click where to start. So I have to put an arrow pointing downward. So I'm going to add another image. Oh, desktop. Gray arrow. I'll put an arrow here. And I could put in a nicer arrow, but I don't really have time to. Oh, actually, it's not that bad. So click here to start. They know that they can go here. I should put in a photo credit as I have on if you see on page 7 of the handout, you see the photo credit? I would put a photo credit there, and I would also put the copyright credit as I. Okay. So now we have the first slide orients them to go to tells them to go to the second slide, and which will continue along. Okay. So this is an example that I would never do, but for example, if we wanted to put a college or institutional logo on every screen for branding, I guess, what we can use is the copy paste item. So on the first screen, I'm going to put in another image. I hope I can find this logo. Oh, there it is right there. So I put the image in. So it's a Cool Academy logo. I'll pop it up there in the corner. Okay, or maybe somewhere less intrusive up there, or even down here. How's that? So I have the Cool Academy logo, but look here, my manager wants me to put it on every screen. Look at this though. I have to put it on all of these, right? So essentially, it'd be much faster if I could copy paste. So there's a nice little copy paste feature here. If I just click on the image, a little menu appears, and if I go right over here, it says copy. Once I hit copy, you see up here on the right hand, on this toolbar, there's a paste icon. I go to the next slide, hit paste. The next one, hit paste. Next one, hit paste. It saves you about 4 steps every screen by using the copy paste. Okay. So just copy paste. You know, you guys know all this, right? So that's one way of building efficiency when you're repurposing. Okay. So I'm on page 9 now. We're talking about something when you're repurposing, you want to think about is uniformity. So when you're making your learning objects and you're making them for your students, it's really good to have everything on the same parts of the screen so that's easier for them to reach there all the time. Have the same fonts, the same font style, same font colors, all of that. Okay, so essentially, let's look at this document. Do you see here how there's different fonts and text throughout the document? So for our purposes here, we want to adopt this sort of purple look for all the fonts. So you would go to the next screen, and just like in, say, Microsoft Word, you could double click on the text, highlight the text, and just make it similar to the one that you have with a style that's acceptable to your college or institution. So basically, there is no like style copy like in Word. You can't just do that nice little copy, click, copy, click, copy. You have to do a bit more manual work there, right? But at least it's possible so that you could change the font style. So it would just be going through, making changes as you would normally. And then that way you could make sure all of the text and fonts are similar. Okay, and especially if you're working with literacy students, you might have a specific font face that you use for better readability. And if you notice here, once we've done this, down here, there's an audio icon. Okay, so these audio icons, when the students click on them, the audio plays, right? So in this case, I disagree with this one because it's so small. If you look at all of the audio icons, they're really small. And if you put this on an iPhone, it would be like a micro dot. So this is what I suggest for making this a bit easier. This is on page 10. What you do is you click on an audio icon and the menu pops up again. And what you can do up here is just gently go to this icon called transform. Click on it. All you have to do is go to, I put mine in the top left corner for audio all the time. 0, tab, 0. I make my audio icons 50 by 50. And if you look at that, anytime a student would want to play, they would know it's always in the top left-hand corner, right? And it's easy to click or touch on a phone. So you would just have to do this for each one.
John, can I ask you a question about this icon, the sound button? Sometimes when students, not in every H5P, but sometimes when the students move to the next slide, the sound comes up without doing anything, without clicking any button.
It autoplay.
I
will be talking about that in a second, in a few minutes. Okay, and that's an accessibility issue. You don't want that to happen because more often than not, it starts playing before they're ready, you know? Okay, so do you see that? To make it more consistent looking, if you got the font, the positioning, and the items, it looks a bit cleaner, right? then something like that. There's a nice option. Sorry, I should just show you guys this now. But if you don't like this, and whenever I do learning objects, I don't use these unless I'm told to by my boss. But what I do is I change them to players. So when I double clicked on the icon, the audio icon, and then I just change the player mode to full and click on done. Once it's like that, I have to stretch it out. And then the students have full control over the playback. So they can play it and pause it. If it's an assessment, I understand that you might want to have it not like this, but so they can only play it here at once, right? But that's an option as well. So you can have it like this or like that. Okay, we've already talked about alternate text. All right, so for audio, your question is on page 11. Thank you, Reza. So here, if I double click on the audio icon, there are different options. And one is enable autoplay. If I uncheck that, when the audio plays, when the slide opens, they will hear no sound. They will have to click on the audio icon to hear it. So it's called enable autoplay. Uncheck that, okay? That's on page 11. Okay, so sometimes you have a cool video that you love and you want to put it into, a lot of times when you get an H5P, it might be maybe 2 years old, but you like the topic and you know that there's a great video out there on Khan Academy. So what you can do is, say here, you can just add a new slide and go to video. Well, whatever you're going to put your title for the video. How's that? Okay, so if I'm going to open up add a video under visuals, you want to make sure that the students have show video player controls turned on, checked. Okay, so that the students can control the video for accessibility purposes. And for playback, uncheck autoplay video and uncheck loop video. Okay, so that will help the students out when they are trying to view the video. Okay, so if I go back to this, once I hit the video, it should.
English expectation.
Okay. All right, so color contrast. You can change the color contrast of the background of these slides. So once I'm here in editing mode, I can click on slide background. You can choose it, do this slide by slide or for the whole presentation. I wouldn't recommend image background because some of the background elements might clash with the text on the front, making them less visible. So I'd advise using color fill background. And you would choose your color here and close it. It doesn't really work here. Oh, so that's no good. So let's just go reset the default. So if you want to consider changing the color to suit the needs of your institutional colors and logo, you can do that as well. Now under here, we have behavioral settings or behavior settings. These are detailed on page 12 and 13. These are also part of stage 3 and stage 4 when you are working with learning objects for H5P. Don't ever use activate active surface mode because you can't undo it. Or if you do, duplicate your H5P first. This, you can show the retry button, or you can show the solution button, or hide the solution button, or show, hide, whatever you want. Enable a printing button. You can also display your Facebook icon, Twitter, and Google Plus icon there as well. Those are customizations you can make to repurpose a learning object. Down here, we have text overrides and translations. This is on page 13. There's all sorts of things you can do here. For example, if your students would be Italian, you could choose Italian. This doesn't change all of the text in the H5P, only the instructional keywords, right? So for example, in the course presentation on a slide, your score would be this, max score would be this. So all of that gets translated. So you'll be surprised at how many H5Ps out there are made in German. You might want to get a German one and translate it back to English. Okay, so that was a lot of features when I grabbed something from Tutela. Now, just imagine that this is a shared course, and on this shared course, there's a whole bunch of H5Ps listed. And all you have to do on a shared course is find an H5P, click on it, and if it is a shared course, your peers or shared course partners will always make sure that it's presented with the reuse button. And so to acquire this for your course, you just click on the reuse button, click on download as an H5P file, and it goes, once it's downloaded into your downloads folder. And then we go to the content bank. Imagine this is your course now. We go to the content bank and it's the same process. You click on the upload button, choose a file, browse, go to your downloads folder. And here it is here, the one I just downloaded by using the reuse button. Click on open, upload this file, save changes. And now this, taken from the shared course by using the reuse button, downloading it and putting it into your content bank, this is now on my course. So it's now mine to do with what I want. You could rename it. I could rename this. A new question set. I'm going to edit it. And here I can change different things, like maybe the pass percentage is 90. You can change the title here. But there's a little feature here that's really nice. And you might not appreciate this until you get a job where you have to copy or make a bunch of quizzes of 100 questions. So for example, here, you have a pattern of questions on this quiz. You notice that they're all multiple choice, and there's a set amount of distractors and answers. So rather than create that every single time by clicking on add a question and making all of that magic happen, all you have to do is this. You choose one of the questions that fits the pattern. You click on copy, and then you go to the new question with nothing in it and click on paste. And then once you've got paste down, all of the fields are sitting there ready for you. So you just have to change some of the, you simply just have to change some of the content here. Maybe that's the right answer. Something like that, right? And when you're doing this, also, just imagine that you can resort these distractors by clicking on these upward and downward arrowheads. There's more things you can do than that, but that is a good way to add questions to something or add elements to something that already exists. And there's another feature. I know we're just about out of time here, folks. And this is one that might help you a lot. It might take some experimentation. Just let me jump in and make another course here. I'm going to go to, give me a sec here. So I'm in John Sandbox 2, John Sandbox 1. I'll go into John Sandbox 2 here. So I have two courses open. This is John Sandbox right here. And this is John Sandbox 2. John Sandbox 2, I don't really have any quizzes here, but I want to make a quiz very similar to one, or I want to take a quiz from somebody else's course. Say, okay, I have access to both. So in the content bank, I'm editing this quiz. This is my source quiz. So what I want to do is up here, we use the copy and paste here for the questions, but at the very top of H5P learning objects, not all of them, but most of them, if I click on copy, it's copied the whole H5P learning object. Okay, so I go into my next course, my new course, and I need a place to put all that information. So I'm going to go to the content bank. I'm going to add, and that was a question set. I'm going to add a question set, a new one. And as you can see, this new question set has nothing in it. It's empty. But I want a lot of the information from the other one. So I just go paste and replace. And all of the content from that other quiz is now in my quiz on my course. So you can jump content from one course to another, okay, or one H5P to another. It doesn't have to be on different courses. It can be on the same course, it's just in different tabs, okay? The one thing that is not consistent about this is it does not always transfer audio and images well. So you might get all the content, but not the audio and images. So that's another alternative for repurposing. All right, and I think we're going to stop right there. I think that's pretty well enough for today. So I'm wide open for questions. I prefer if you talk to me if you have any questions. Paul, I see you're there active. Thanks, man. Are there any questions for me at this point?
I have a quick question. For the audio activities, I saw that there was a file there. Is there any way to voice record directly onto the object?
No.
Okay, so you have to record in a different program and then upload that MP3.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that.
Got it.
But you know, there are H5 learning objects that allow students to record and all that, right? But that's not what you're asking.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm asking the one like just the teacher
Yeah.
side. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Normally, I create all my MP3s first, way before I do the actual assembly.
What program do you use to make them?
Well, I use Audacity. Audacity is the best freebie out there. But if I use, what is it called? Hang on a sec. I don't have my bookmarks up. I either use Audio Mass or this one. Here's my favorite. This one's my favorite. It's called ttsmp3.com. It allows you to record an hour or so a day, but I bought the real version, and that gives you digitized voices that are quite good.
Got it.
I'll put that up. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, Johnny. This is going to be, where's that chat box? It's in the chat box, that address. Microsoft Voice Recorder? Which one, Cheyenne?
Well, on my screen, it just says voice recorder, but it comes with the Microsoft, it is embedded in my computer, in my laptop. So that's pretty good.
Okay, cool. As long as you have something that you can rely on, but Audacity's been going strong for over 20 years and it's never let me down.
No, Audacity is good. Yeah.
I just have one other quick question since nobody has.
Sure. Yeah, no problem at all.
Also, I didn't say last time, but thank you for the presentation. It was really helpful.
Oh, thank you.
I'm wondering, what do you think would be the easiest way of bringing one part of, I guess one of two things one would be merging two different H5Ps into one, or just kind of bringing a part of one into another. Like, let's say there's one slide of one H5P that you want to bring into yours, but you don't want to bring the whole thing in. So I guess two different questions. How do you merge two different H5Ps? And the other, how do you partially merge? That is, bring one part of one into another.
Right. Okay. So I guess there's a bigger question here. Like, there's H5P power tools, right? And I call it number one is the course presentation, because you can put a lot of different things on slides. Then there's the columns. You can put all sorts of things in there, and you can put a whole course presentation in there. And then there's the book, the interactive book, which is killer. You put everything into the interactive book, right? So if you're going to be doing that kind of thing, I would be looking at either using one of those three tools and then using that. Okay, this is what you could do. You can have two tabs open on your Avenue, right? Your same course, and have the original, which has the original content in, and then the destination, which would be the book or something to call them, and just copy it and paste individual elements. That's one way to do it, and it's not too cumbersome and too slow, right?
That makes sense.
And that's probably how I do it.
Got it.
Okay.